Welcome to another edition of the Noles Podcast. I am your host, Gregory McCoy. This podcast is by a fan for fans. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not an insider. I do not work for a website. The majority of my content comes from me and my opinion. Other information comes from the internet. Today is January 30th, 2020. I got about, 5 different segments here for this episode. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and get started. The first segment is entitled The Psychology of Football. What is it? And this is what I wrote about that. The psychology of football. What is it? No matter what level of football it is, coaches like to play mind games with players to challenge them, to motivate them, to get the most out of them. I think this will always be a practice because it works. If you let a player think he's got it made, then he usually messes up in a game. So the coach will always do whatever to prepare their players for games. Another psychology tactic in football is the mind games players use against each other in games. If a player consistently runs his mouth and the other player starts feeding into it, usually the second guy gets off his game. This usually happens in every game. Players talk trash to each other and try to get in each other's minds to take them out of their game. The old saying is, football is a thinking man's game. And it really is. This aspect of football is just one of the things that makes this game we call football great. I mean, football psychology is a real thing, man. I mean, coaches use it, players use it, the fans use it. It's just one of those things that it can be used to motivate. It can be used to get you to quit. It's just, I love it. The motivational part. I don't like the part where, it's used to try to get people to quit. We used to have my high school coach used to lift weights with us. Just to show you, hey, I'm old and I'm outlifting y'all. He was like probably late 30s when he was coaching us. Back when I was in high school, he was probably 38, 39. He's probably in his 60s now. But he used to lift weights with us, and he would try to outlift us just to make us like, okay, this old dude is outlifting us. And it was just a psychology thing. He was like, if I'm old and I'm in here outlifting you, what are the opposing teams doing? I mean, it motivated me. I don't know what it did for other players, but I always tried to get in there and outlift him. I never did, but I tried. So let me know what you think about that segment, the psychology of football. All right. The next segment is entitled, Could Florida State Hoops be in contention for a number 1 seed? And here's what I wrote about that. And at the time of this recording, they over the weekend they had beat Notre Dame 85-84. So they're at the time of this recording they're 17-2. Could Florida State Hoops be in contention for a number 1 seed? I don't know. Maybe North Carolina is having a bad season due to injuries, and Duke looks very beatable. Virginia might not make the tournament. A deep run into the ACC tournament may cement a number 1 seed. Leonard Hamilton continues his brilliance at Florida State. At last check, again, they were 17-2 and number 5 in the nation. That's nothing to sneeze at. Florida State basketball is carrying Florida State sports at the moment. One would have to admit that. Maybe, just maybe, basketball could slowly emerge from the shadow of the football program. Whatever happens with this team, kudos to Hamilton and his players on a great season. 17-2, man. Okay? Nobody saw that coming. These guys are really potentially looking at a number 1 seed, especially after that Candace debacle. They might be they might get discipline, which kicks them out the tournament. We don't know. But like I said, he rebuilt this program. He's getting top guys to come to Florida State. He even came into my hometown and snagged a guy from my high school last year. And he'll go anywhere to get talent. He'll go overseas to get talent. So, hey, man, he's a great coach. Much respect to Leonard Hamilton, man. So let me know what you think about that episode. And I'm going to try to do some more Florida State basketball stuff. I'm just going to be honest. I don't really know any of the players on the team. I just follow the highlights here and there. So I'm going to try to do more Florida State basketball stuff. So let me know what you think about that segment. All right. Next segment is entitled, which logo do you like better? The Spear, the FSU logo, or Chief Osceola? And this is what I wrote about that. Which logo is the best? Chief Osceola, FSU, or the Spear? Chief Osceola is the universal symbol for Florida State. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. However, I like the old Chief Osceola logo better than the new one. I really don't see anything unseating Chief Osceola as the logo for Florida State ever. The initials FSU is the calling card for the program. I have had a few numbskulls confuse Florida State with Fayetteville State in North Carolina. When FSU is stated, we know who they're talking about. They're talking about Florida State. When you say FSU, there's only one FSU, and it's in Tallahassee. This is what our rivals call us because they hate saying Florida State. Spurrier called it Free Shoes University one time, which I just felt was hilarious when he said that. The spear, that's the main weapon across the gold helmet. You can't have Florida State without it. It's just as important as the first two. We need all three to complete the Florida State brand. So the winner is all three. But like I said, Chief Osceola is the main attraction here. When they flash Florida State up on the screen, they flash Chief Osceola. So, you need all three to be Florida State. So I'm not going to pick one over the other. So it's a three-way tie for number one. Let me know what you think about that segment. All right. Conference expansion. Was it good or bad for college football? We know several years ago, the Big East basically imploded. And then a lot of teams from the Big 12 went, to the Pac-12, to the Big 10, and to the SEC. So was that good or bad for college football? And this is what I wrote about that. College expansion. Was it good or bad for college football? I think it was mostly bad, mainly for the Big 12. They had Colorado, Texas A&M, Missouri, and Nebraska. None of these teams have really been a factor since leaving the Big 12. Jimbo is not going to put Texas on the schedule, and I missed that game. Nebraska and Colorado on Black Friday was awesome. I'm still not used to these teams being where they are now in terms of their conference affiliation. Also, I hate the name Pac-12. The Pac-10 just seems more natural to me. The Big East was losing teams left and right. The ACC gobbled them up. Some Big East teams. What did I write? Skip that. When the ACC gobbled up those teams, that basically is what created the Power Five. And just like everything else in college football, the Power Five is basically what runs college football. Nobody else can get a shot at anything. And that's true. The Power 5 thing, man, I just hate it. I'm just going to be honest. Like I said, I've said this on many episodes, and I'm going to say it again today. I want an 8-team tournament. Okay? Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl. All right? I want 5 Power 5 automatic qualifiers. No at-large bids for the Power 5. Then I would have 3 Group of 5 bids. That way, nobody can say that the little guy is not getting a chance. And I believe it's going to get to that, because I know that the other major bowls are going to get tired of getting shut out every year, especially when you see Sugar Bowl tickets on the internet going for $5. It's just a matter of time. So I don't know if they're going to wait until this contract is up, or if they're just going to, try to do something before it's up. So let me know what you think about that segment. Conference expansion. All right. Next is going to be, could a 100% defensive player, meaning he plays defense exclusively, no returns, nothing offensively, could that player win the Heisman? All right, and here's what I wrote about that. Could a 100% of the time defensive player win the Heisman? I doubt it. These football purists hate to adapt or change. It's either quarterback or running back every year. A defensive end would need 30 sacks to even, get an invite. A linebacker would probably need 200 tackles, a couple of interceptions returned for a touchdown. Just a whole bunch of game-changing plays. A defensive back would probably need 15 interceptions in a season. Not a career. It's sad, but the Heisman is an offensive award. Only the 2 glamour positions even get consideration. Power 5 schools only get consideration for this award. I might be wrong, but I'm thinking Randy Moss and Marshall Faulk are the only non-Power 5 players to be invited to the ceremony. No, Steve McNair got invited, I think. I could be wrong on that. Offensive players draw viewers, man. That's just the way it is. The reason why Charles Woodson won it back in 98, he was doing the punt returns and he was running the ball back for touchdowns. That's why he won it. Let's be real. Okay, he's a great player. He's gonna be a NFL Pro Football Hall of Famer, but he won that award for doing offensive things, not defensive things. Okay. And I just, I don't. If my memory serves me correctly, I don't think a tight end has ever even won the award. Somebody look it up and tell me in the comments. I don't think a tight end ever won the award. I don't even think a tight end has been invited to New York for the ceremony. This is a quarterback running back award. Okay. And for anybody else to even get a look, they would just have to have like a just Joe Burrow type season, just breaking records left and right. So that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. This podcast is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify Podcasts. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please scroll down to the description. Click on one of the links. Rate, review, and subscribe. I appreciate all my subscribers who listen on a daily basis. Can't thank you enough. And as always, go Noles.